One of the big success stories has really been the success story of Apple diversifying and moving its manufacturing to India. What do you take away from that success story, and what do you believe needs to be built on for us to be able to do many more of these Apple success stories, Apple-like success stories?
I think the key element of the Apple success story, number one, is scale, that you wanted to bring in something which happens on scale. And that is what we have finally achieved. When you're saying that 14% of the global Apple sales are going to come out of India, then you've got somewhere in terms of scale. Now, once you've got scale, you have to bring in the rest of the value chain, because it does not make sense to leave the rest of the value chain out there. If not the entire value chain, because these are global value chain, a significant proportion of it. Because the lesson really is that right now what you've shifted is the assembly of all of these parts, which achieves a value addition of about 15 to 20%, and which is, again, very important simply because of the total amount of employment it provides. And the emphasis in the budget is primarily on employment.
Yes.
And this is a segment which gives you a lot of employment, and PLI in mobile phones has primarily been successful, including on the employment front, and that's been a significant element. But in order for this industry, and not just Apple, but Apple-like companies, to continue to manufacture in India, we have to be competitive, continue to be competitive, and not just on labor costs, because labor costs can shift tomorrow, and if the investments are low, it could very well go to some other country. We need to have the component ecosystem come in, and I think that is what requires attention next, so that a significant proportion of the component ecosystem either shifts into India or develops in India based on what roots it has. Because let's not forget that we did have an electronic hardware industry in the 70s and the 80s, and even into the 90s. So there is some revival there which is required to make sure that we are able to do it. And ultimately, hopefully, we'll have Indian brands and design products from India, which will make a huge difference.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in to CNBC TV 18. Make sure you follow us and stay updated on all our social media platforms.